Hi, ladies and gentlemen, dear audience. Welcome to this episode of Herald Cafe. Today we've got a author, Madam Celina Almeida, with her new book, Fests of Goa. Welcome to the studio, Celina, ma'am.
Thank you, Herald, for inviting me for this conversation on my book. And I hope the audience must have had a good week last with the heavy rains in Goa.
So I would like to first ask you about the inspiration for this book, to write this book.
Yes. I had two sources for my inspiration. One was the richness, the wealth of culture that Goa has, and the second, the uniqueness of this culture. And when I speak of the wealth, I want to include not only the feasts and the fests, but our songs, our dances, our food, our language, which is so important, our musical instruments. All this is, and our houses, especially the houses of Goa with a balcony, which today are very rare to be found only in the villages. So all this is a global part of the culture of Goa. When I speak of, I have written about feasts and fests of Goa, the songs are there, the music is there, our food is there. There are some recipes for food also, and so I said this is the wealth that Goa has of our culture. Now when I say it is uniqueness, you never find this uniqueness outside the frontiers of Goa. We have influences of indigenous culture, we have influences of Hindu culture, of Muslim, Portuguese, and we are unique in that sense. All these cultures have formed what we are today, our Goa.
And ma'am, you grew up in Panjim here.
Yes.
And did that also influence, because you have seen culture at such a close proximity, and I was reading that you used to go to see different festivals.
Yes, that was when I was young, yes, when my father used to take us for these feasts. Now, Feast of Santa Ana in Tel Aviv, what we call the Toshanchai Fest, or Feast of St. Jude in Bati. I went only once or twice, but I don't remember much about it. Then Dad used to take us also for another feast, that is, Feast of St. Francis Xavier, which is everybody in Goa goes. But he used to tell us on our way, we used to go by car, that when he was a child, they used to go by boat, because everybody in those years owned a boat. So my grandfather owned a boat, so everybody in the family would sit in the boat and go for the novenas at Old Goa. It was such a beautiful story that he would tell us when we were traveling. And that remained in my mind, and I can't think of going by boat to Old Goa today.
True. And ma'am, you have chosen specifically 16 festivals
yes,
for this. So
Goa
why is that?
Yes, Goa has so many more festivals, which I couldn't put everything in my book.
True.
Then I would never end if I had to take all the festivals of Goa. So I concentrated on festivals where we take care and preserve water and soil, where we take care of we project our history, where we take care of our indigenous festival, and still they are celebrated. So I chose specifically only these because they denote a part of our culture.
Kind of a holistic picture they try to give, or more close to nature.
Because festivals here are close to nature. Festivals here have historical and religious background.
Yes.
Festivals here try to, what shall I say, when you talk about the Toshanchai Fest, when you talk about the Tisranchai Fest, what are we doing? It's not only to celebrate that we are growing Toshi, it is to give thanks to God for this what He has given us. And in that manner, we have the Constanchai Fest, where we cut the first corn and offer it to God. Whether we are in the Christian community or Hindu community, it is the same thing.
It's like showing gratitude.
Gratitude to God for what He has given us.
True.
That's why I've chosen these few festivals, not that there are not more, there are so many more festivals.
And ma'am, this book has been edited by Professor Amita Kanekar.
Yes, and I'm thankful, very much thankful to Professor Amita Kanekar, because I am not a history student. I am on the educational line. I did my graduation in sociology, so the knowledge of history of Goa that I had, it was not very correct. And she was very good and showed me that this is not what the history of Goa is. And she corrected it, and I accepted it, because she's the best I could find in Goa, the best historian.
She is, of course. And about the collaboration with Fundasa Orient, you would like to say something?
Yes, my book was launched. The event was done by Fundasa Orient. Besides, Fundasa Orient also helped me financially in printing. Besides Fundasa Orient, I have to thank Dr. Mimi and Cesar Menezes. Financially, they also helped me in printing of these books. It's a very, very expensive affair to print books here.
Yes.
So I'm thankful to both, to Fundasa and to Dr. Mimi and Cesar Menezes.
And continuing these traditional festivals, in these contemporary times, what is your point of view of the relevance of it, or mostly my question is, why do we keep on carrying these traditions? Any ideas on that, your thoughts?
Why do we carry the tradition? If we got these traditions from our ancestors,
right,
and we are celebrating it today. We don't pass it to the next generation, then it's gone.
True.
We go as a cultural state, as a state with having such a rich culture, it will disappear. So therefore, it is very imperative that we continue celebrating these festivals, that our new generation learns what are these festivals about. It's not just going to dance here or something. It has got religious meaning. It's got historical meaning. There are geographical reasons why they are celebrated in this particular place. So our new generation has to learn to continue this, what we received from our ancestors.
So, ma'am, from your experience, did you see a difference of organizing these festivals from yesteryears to nowadays? For example, in one of your interviews, you said there are no bananas in Kelan Fest. Like, are you seeing more changes that these traditional festivals are adapting to the modern times? Any?
What has happened, most of the festivals, they are called by Kelan Fest and Toshan Fest and Tisrian Fest, but they are celebrated on a particular day of, say, of a feast of Our Lady of Guadalupe, that is in Kurtori, the Kelan Fest. Saint Anthony of Tisrian Fest in Nerul, Bati. Santa Ana in Telauli. But they have this, they are known by these products of the land. Actually, they are celebrating the feast of Our Lady, of our saint. In Kurtori, what has happened? In the past, as I've narrated in my book, it was flooded with bananas that used to come through the Zuari River by canoes, and the whole area, the bylanes and the lanes and all, filled with bananas. But now, bananas have disappeared. And I asked my friends from Kurtori, where are they? I can't even see one peel of a banana there. So they said, today bananas are imported from all other parts of Goa. Then we have lost that. But we continue saying Kelan Fest. So I advised them, I said, okay, you keep on calling it Kelan Fest, but do something that is connected with the bananas. I remember when we went to Madeira, they have a museum of bananas, and they celebrate so many, what shall I say, feasts. I wouldn't say feasts, they celebrate so many things about bananas. For example, they have one day in the museum where people are called to narrate their experiences of the plantation of bananas. And remember that Madeira exports the best quality of bananas to the European continent. Then they have articles made of bananas. Then they have things like jams and pickles or whatever. So we in Goa also have these things, but we don't use them. Why can't we have on that feast day like competitions of jams or pickles or cookery or articles made of banana fiber? So many things they could have done. So that is what I advise the people from Kurturi.
Nice. Yes, to adapt to the modern times, yet keep the traditions alive.
Yeah.
So, again, on the idea of keeping the traditions alive, and do you think the structure, do you think the face of the festivals are changing now that there are newer festivals are coming in? Yes, please, any
Yes.
comment on that?
The festivals, in the sense that they are not what they were in the past with so much spirituality. It's more like, but people go for mass, people go to the temple, people go pray and all. But what is changing Goa today is that festival that is called, in December they have Sunburn Festival, and I've read in the papers that it's a culture of Goa. I just want to ask my Goan friends, since when this Sunburn Festival has become part of our culture? Whoever can explain to me, I would be very thankful. Sunburn, when you have drugs, you have dances for 2 nights, drinking, is that part of our culture? Or do you want to pass this to our next generation? I don't think. We don't want that.
Right. But how do we like minimize this conflict, minimize this situation between the youth and the tradition? You know, like, is there a way to minimize is there a shock absorber?
See, that Sunburn Festival means money making. Now, who makes the money? I don't have to say that. So how can you, and our traditional festivals are not meant to make money. Ours are to celebrate, I say, what we have in Goa. So there is no way we can bring together what is the Sunburn and what is our traditional festivals. No way.
True, true. And I think we are coming to an end of this conversation. But I believe here in this book there are 16 festivals.
16.
I wish that you come up with a second edition also with more festivals, which will.
There are so many
Yes.
festivals, but it's very tiring affair, you know, because for every festival, my husband, myself, we went there.
Okay. Yes.
We went. We saw what was happening. We clicked photographs, but since our photographs were not good, then I had to take professional photographers, which are very expensive.
Okay.
And so like that, I chose these festivals. And the last one of my book is not a festival, but it is part of Goan Catholic culture. That is the singing of the Ladainhas, what we say, litany.
Okay.
And in the past, even today maybe, they sing in Latin, in Konkani, and in English. And it is sung near the crosses all over Goa in the month of October and the month of May. People get together of each ward and they sing the litanies. At the end, they distribute wine to the men and soft drinks, and to the boys, young boys, and to the ladies. And then grams with bits of coconut. But it is still carried on. The sad part of it is that our youth is no longer here to help. They are out because they have to work, and they don't get any kind of work that they want to get here. So they migrate, and who does all this are the elderly people. And for how long they will do is a question mark.
Yes. Ma'am, where is this book available now? In dog ears? And
yes, in Panjim at Daughters of St. Paul, 18 June Road,
okay.
and at Varsha bookstall.
Okay.
In Margao at Dog's Ears, because he does very good work of exporting these books also
he
to
does
my
delivery,
friends. And at Confident in Margao.
Okay. All right. Yes. Thank you, Celina, for your time and
You're
your
welcome.
great knowledge to know about the Festival of Goa.
You're welcome.
I think it's a reckoner for people who would like to know more about Goa, about the heritage of Goa. Yes. Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Welcome.
Thank you, audience. I will see you again next week.